Hi guys, thank you for clicking on this video. In the last video, I talked about the mainstream media's silence whenever white people are victimized. And in that video, I discussed Carlton Guilford. Carlton is a black man who walked into a library, walked over to a white guy who was sitting down reading a book, and Carlton shot him in the back of the head, execution style. Carlton then walked across the street to a gas station, found another white guy pumping gas, and Carlton shot him in the head twice. The second shooting I covered was Lawrence Herr. Lawrence also was killed simply because he was white. In fact, the two people that were caught stated that they wanted to go out and kill a white guy that day.
They did indicate that they were specifically not only looking to kill somebody, but they wanted to be a white person.
What if these roles were reversed? What if the perps were white and the victims were black? In that case, you'd be hearing things like reading while black, pumping gas while black, or installing a mailbox while black will all get you killed today. And the reason we know we would hear this is because we're constantly hearing not only the lies from the mainstream media, but President Biden always reminds us that our biggest threat is white supremacy.
Domestic terrorism from white supremacists. White supremacy. White supremacy. White supremacy is terrorism. The rise of white supremacy. White supremacy is a poison.
Well, today I have another case for you. It involves two thugs who steal a car. The driver is Jesus Ayala, and the passenger is Zamir Keys. This is from their own video. So that's the first thing these two animals do. They slam into this car and force her off the road. By the way, they weren't only dumb enough to record this, but then stupid enough to upload it to social media. That's how these idiots got caught. Let's go back to the video. So you hear the driver say, "Are you ready?" In other words, are you recording it? Because I'm about to kill this guy. And you hear the passenger say, yeah, get his ass. Okay. By the way, neither of these two mutts have fathers at home. Just a side note. The person riding in the bike lane is 64-year-old retired police chief Andy Probst. Let's watch what they do to him. So there he goes, over the hood, onto the windshield, and they drive away, leaving this poor man to die. And for some reason, they think it's very funny. Andy survived 35 years as a cop, but was killed in retirement by these two animals. Now let's listen to how the media covers it.
Two teens accused of murder after an alleged crime spree goes viral make their first appearance in adult court. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Denise Valdez.
And I'm Brian Loftus. 8 News Now investigator Vanessa Murphy was there. Has more on this case along with never before heard details.
Denise and Brian, I've learned Jesus Ayala, the accused driver, appeared to show no remorse when he was taken into custody, even referring to the hit and run and telling an officer he'll get a slap on the wrist since he's in the juvenile system. As we've reported, he has a lengthy criminal history there, but he's not in the juvenile system anymore.
Jesus Ayala appearing in adult court for the first time Thursday, facing 18 charges, including murder.
The court does find probable cause for your arrest in this case.
His co-defendant, Zamir Keys, facing 3 charges, also including murder. The teens are accused of killing retired police chief Andy Probst, intentionally hitting him as he rode his bicycle in a designated bike lane. Ayala, the accused driver. Keys, the accused passenger who recorded this video. Ayala, 17 at the time, now 18. Keys, 16 years old.
Do you believe these teens should remain in custody, and what do you think is an appropriate bail amount for each of them?
Determination of whether somebody should remain in custody is based upon whether they're a flight risk or danger to the community, okay? I believe they're potentially both. They have certainly proved that they are dangerous.
Clark County District Attorney Steve Wolfson also explaining how his office will work to prosecute both teens for murder.
Well, under law in Nevada and most any other place, if you aid and abet, encourage, facilitate, or help in any way another person to commit a crime, you're equally guilty.
The teens are expected back in court on Tuesday. We'll be there. Back to you, Brian.
What didn't you hear? You didn't hear anything about race. Why is that? Again, if the roles were reversed, if this were two white mutts mowing down a 64-year-old retired person of color and then giggling about it, it'd be all over the news. By the way, this is the second person they struck on a bicycle. They hit one before this who was 72 years old. He was lucky enough to survive. And before that, they burglarized the house and not only stole this car, this is their fourth stolen car they took that day. Stolen cars in Clark County are up 43% this year when compared to last. Why are stolen cars up so much? It's because it's not enforced. Clark County's woke sheriff, Kevin McCahill, believes that enforcing some of these crimes against property is racist. These are some of the things he said.
McMahill says his plan is to bring the murder rate and every other crime rate down by 10%. He says the solution lies in the Bolden Area Command, where he took over as captain in 2009.
We would walk in the door and we'd stop every young black man that we could with the intent that we were trying to help. It's what we were taught. But what we didn't realize, because we never really listened to the community, was we were actually alienating the very same people we were trying to help.
In the next clip, you're going to hear the sheriff talk about Jorge Gomez, who was shot and killed by police during a BLM riot. Gomez was armed with 3 guns and was wearing full body armor. And his intent that day was to go out and kill cops, as shown by his last social media post. I know thousands of armed citizens can end all of these cops. And let it be known, we will. After the beanbags didn't work and Gomez refused to drop the gun, police were forced to shoot him. Knowing his backstory, let's listen to the woke sheriff talk about that shooting.
Jorge Gomez was shot on the steps of the courthouse and lost his life. His family will never be the same.
The last clip is a Democrat talking point. I'm sure you've heard it before. Let's see if you could spot it.
You have to have leaders that are willing to push an organization to expand and expand and expand. And I know we can get there. I know we will get there, because we are going to find ways to reimagine how it is that we police to be far more effective, to keep these vulnerable communities safe, and to reduce the violent crime in our neighborhoods.
Reimagine police. It sounds very familiar, right? Where have you heard that before?
I think that a big part of this conversation really is about reimagining how we do public safety in America.
Really reimagine what public safety should look like in our community.
The folks in law enforcement that share the goals of reimagining policing.
Reimagining policing in the 21st century.
Rethinking and reimagining policing.
Community efforts to reimagine policing.
To reimagine policing.
We have to reimagine what policing looks like.
Reimagining policing, reimagining our public safety.
Reimagine a citizen-led approach.
You can begin to reimagine law enforcement.
Reimagine public safety in this country.
What can we do to reimagine public safety?
Reimagining public safety.
To reimagine public safety.
We must reimagine what public safety looks like.
So there's the woke sheriff who won't enforce property crimes because doing so would be racist. The insanity runs deep. When you're woke, everything is racist. Do you remember the Tyree Nichols case where that poor man was beaten to death by 5 thugs? I'm not going to call them cops. They were thugs wearing police uniforms. Sheriff McCahill was quick to come out and not only condemn that incident, but claim it was racist, even though the perp and the victims were the same race. But oddly enough, when 2 people of color mow down an innocent white guy riding on a bicycle, he doesn't mention race at all. Isn't that weird? And he wasn't the only one that came out with the Tyree Nichols case and said it was racist. America's newest race hustler, Eric Adams, had to get in on that action too.
Let me ask you, the Chief C.J. Davis, in my interview with her, she said that all the officers being black, it takes race off the table. Do you agree with that?
No, I don't. When a culture of policing historically has treated those from different groups differently, that culture can still exist. And we have to zero in on it, being honest about it, and making sure that we properly train police for the realities of the cities that they are policing in.
Remember, the narrative that people of color are being hunted doesn't just apply to police. It applies to civilians as well. Do you remember the Jordan Neely and Daniel Penny incident in the New York City subway? The left was claiming that was a racist incident, even though one of the people helping Penny subdue him was also black. It didn't matter. If the victim is black, it is a racist incident. That's the number one thing we have to realize today. And it's not just today. You can go back years and decades even. Do you remember the Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman shooting?
The U.S. Justice Department has now opened a civil rights investigation, and the local prosecutor has convened a grand jury to consider criminal charges.
Trayvon was hunted down like a rabid dog. He was shot in the street. He was racially profiled.
In the 3 weeks since Trayvon Martin was killed inside this gated Florida community, Neighborhood Watch volunteer George Zimmerman has maintained he shot Martin in self-defense. But attorney Benjamin Crump, who represents Martin's family, says the unarmed teenager was targeted because of his race.
Arrest George Zimmerman for the killing of Trayvon Martin in cold blood today.
Crump said on the night of the shooting, Martin was heading home from the store and on the phone with his girlfriend. What happened next is the critical question. Crump insists Zimmerman was the aggressor. And records show Zimmerman has been a frequent caller to police, with 46 calls in the last year, often reporting African Americans.
That incident made it all the way up to Obama.
When Trayvon Martin was first shot, I said that this could have been my son. Another way of saying that is Trayvon Martin could have been me 35 years ago.
The media went through great lengths and were jumping through hoops to try to portray the Trayvon Martin shooting as a racist incident. In fact, they began referring to George Zimmerman, who is Hispanic, as a white Hispanic. This is the actual call made by George Zimmerman when he called 911 the night of that shooting.
This guy looks like he's up to no good, or he's on drugs or something. It's raining and he's just walking around looking about. Okay, and this guy, is he white, black, or Hispanic? He looks black.
That was the actual call, but this is what the media played.
This guy looks like he's up to no good. He looks black. Did you see what he was wearing? Yeah, a dark hoodie.
They took out the part where the 911 dispatcher asked Zimmerman for a description. It made it appear that when Zimmerman said, "This guy looks like he's up to no good, he looks black," it seemed as if Zimmerman thought he was up to no good simply because of his race. Why would they do this? Well, once they started portraying Zimmerman as this new demographic, a white Hispanic, they finally had a chance to demonize him and make this a racist incident. One last thing about the Zimmerman trial. When Zimmerman called 911, he utters that it's fucking cold. Listen to what the media went through to isolate that word to see if Zimmerman really said something else.
This is Brian Stone. He's one of our senior audio engineers, correct, an expert in this field. And you have enhanced the tape, and we're going to listen to this. I have not listened to this tape either. 2 weeks ago when we did this, I didn't listen to it because I wanted to listen to it for the first time on this equipment. The second version that's been enhanced, I haven't listened to. Let's play it.
The back entrance. Are you following him? Yeah. Okay, we don't need you to do that.
Now, that certainly sounds much clearer than the first tape we listened to, right?
It's extremely clear now.
Some are accusing George Zimmerman of using the racial slur coons in his 911 call. It was preceded by the F word.
Can we play it again? Can you repeat it so we can hear it a few times? The problem is this is very short. It's only about 1.6 seconds. So
roughly, yeah.
So once again, if we can repeat it a few times so we can hear it clearly.
Okay.
With this new, clearer audio, it's apparent the first word is a curse word. So we'll bleep it out for the rest of the story. It's the second word that's important to hear.
I don't want to say what it sounds like this time, what a lot of people are saying it sounds like, but let's play it a few times so the viewer can have an idea for themselves and make their own conclusion.
Do you think the media are going to care about this incident? Do you think they're going to pursue this with the same vigor as they did the Trayvon Martin shooting? Of course not. They are obsessed with race, but only certain races. And we don't have to go all the way back to Zimmerman. We don't even have to go all the way back to the Jordan Neely incident. Just last week, Donald Trump, who believes the Democrats rigged the election, posted about that on social media.
Using a word that rhymes with the N-word. Donald Trump himself, their leader, using the term riggers, which clearly rhymes with the N-word. I mean, this is not 10 years ago or 30 years ago when we marched against him on the Central Park Five. I'm talking about within the last 24 hours, used the term riggers. Is this the kind of party the Republicans want to show the country that they are? There's no wonder independents are running away from them. To identify with blatant racism and blatant violence is not the party that we need. And I've never been a Republican, never leaned their way, but we need a two-party system. But we don't need one that prides itself in bigotry.
The left claims everything is racist. Today we have racist trees. Milk is racist. Telling time is racist. Math is racist. The ice cream truck is racist. Car insurance is racist. Sleep is racist. But oddly enough, when two people of color mow down this innocent white man, kill him, and then laugh about it, there's no racism there at all. I wanted to make this video to call out the media and their hypocrisy. I know I should be getting used to this, especially by now, making all these videos. I just can't wrap my head around it. It's disgusting. It's embarrassing. It's a disgrace. And all I can do is keep making videos exposing them. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you like the video, please consider subscribing, and I hope you will join me on the next one. Thank you.